Johnny Holman, an Atlanta church deacon, will hold a rally today demanding more consequences for his death. The 62-year-old died after an Atlanta police officer tased and handcuffed him during a traffic stop. This afternoon's rally comes after the release of body cam footage last week showing the confrontation between Holman and now former officer Kieran Kimbrough. A coalition of organizations is demanding the prosecution of Kimbrough and the arrest of a tow truck driver who helped the officer. The rally is today at 4 p.m. outside the Atlanta Police headquarters downtown.